It is my pleasure to have Tony Fuhrmann today as our guest speaker. Tony currently serves as the Director of Employment and Training for Madison County. Prior to that, he served for 2 years as Chief Financial Officer for the Bureau of Property Management, Central Services for the state of Illinois. He was employed by the Illinois Department of Human Resources in various positions for 17 years, and with Anheuser-Busch in the Logistics Department for 10 years. Tony holds a master's degree in marketing research from SIUE. Tony's research and welfare clients was incorporated into the federal welfare reform. He was part of the governor's interagency team for workforce development. This team worked on 26 local workforce areas to complete all the necessary steps to be certified and approved under the terms of the Workforce Investment Act. Tony has chaired a group of state and local representatives that developed a cost allocation / resource sharing guide used in completing the local workforce memorandums of understanding. He has staffed statewide groups, including technical assistant guides for careers in the healthcare industry, and was involved in the State Youth Council for Workforce Development. Tony has experience in reviewing requests for proposals, awarding contracts for services. He has completed process improvement projects resulting in increased performance. He has experience in analyzing data and implementing those results on improved outcomes. Tony has experience in dealing with all levels of government, federal, state, and local. His experience in both the public and private sectors has allowed him to bridge the gap between the two. Tony currently serves as Vice President of the Illinois Workforce Partnership, that is an organization of 22 local workforce areas in Illinois. In January, he will move into the president's role. Locally, he served as chairman of the Metro East Lutheran High School for eight years. Tony and his wife live in Collinsville and have 5 young children and 9 grandchildren. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Tony Fuhrmann.
Thank you. It's good to be with you this afternoon. I'm going to try to make this quick. Madison County Employment and Training is a county department. We'll get into how we're funded. We're a little bit different than most county departments here in a little bit. Our task under the legislation that we're guided by is to prepare and train a skilled workforce for the employers in our region. We're seeing the same things that every employer is seeing as far as shortages in employers or employees. Driving down the road on 5570 by Collinsville, you'll see this billboard, which is pretty descriptive of what's going on in our economy currently. You can see it's a billboard looking to hire billboard installers. So I saw the larger version of this yesterday on 255 down by 64. So this pretty well describes everything that's going on. People are saying why. So the last several months, we've been doing some analysis both at the federal level and the local level. What we're seeing at the federal level, since the beginning of the pandemic, 3 million baby boomers retired. Why? Some people were concerned about their health. I think some people, older people, were sent home to do remote learning or remote work and did not have the skill set, the technical savvy. They saw it was a good time to get out. The third dot point there, child care shortages. A lot of grandparents retired to stay home with their grandchildren so the parents could go back to work. You go into a restaurant, go into a retail establishment, point 2, we all know 1 million less people are working part-time jobs. Where do people get second jobs? Restaurants, retail. People aren't taking those jobs. That sort of goes down to number 5. People think that it's all about enhanced benefits. When the unemployment enhancements were there, I think there was some of that, but now what you're seeing, especially lower income individuals, the child care tax credits that they've allowed, the 300 to 250, a young mother doesn't have to get the part-time job in the restaurant now. She can stay home with their children. So I think there is part of that as well. The other thing in hospitality and retail, the continued fear of COVID. I mean, those are very public-facing jobs. You can't do that remotely. So if there's a concern, the next variant's coming in, and there's a reason for people to sort of back off and stay away from those. And again, what we saw last year was remote learning for children had a big effect on the number of people in the workforce. I will tell you, SIU Edwardsville's economics department tracks labor market participation. 55 and above is at the lowest level it's ever been. Those 3 million people in there that are no longer being counted. The prime ages that they describe it is back to almost where we were pre-pandemic. It's within 1% to 1.5% of pre-pandemic. I think what you're seeing is the remote learning has ended. Those people have gone back into the workforce. And then people will be surprised by this. The younger 25 and under is at the highest level of labor market participation that it's ever been. We had former Congressman Shimkus yesterday at our workforce board meeting. He's now teaching part-time at SIU. So most of his students in his class also are employed now. That's not what the norm has been. But the feeling is now that jobs are $17, $18, $20 an hour, students see that they can make money. It's not like when they were $7, $8, $9 an hour. So a little bit more about our department. Like I said, we are funded a little bit differently than the rest of the county departments. We're funded completely with federal funds through the Department of Labor. And those funds flow through the state, through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. And Doug mentioned there's 22 local workforce areas throughout the state. So Madison County Employment and Training administers these funds in 4 counties: Madison, Bond, Jersey, and Calhoun. And our funding is split into 3 buckets, if you would. 2 deal with adult population, which is 18 and over. And then the third is the youth population, which is 16 to 25. So the adult population basically is low-income individuals. The threshold currently is 70% of the poverty level. Someone who is receiving public assistance benefits such as SNAP, TANF, or SSI is automatically eligible. Also, someone who is underemployed and not hitting that income threshold is also eligible. Second category of funding is dislocated workers. Very simply, someone who is receiving unemployment, has exhausted their unemployment benefits, are eligible and haven't applied. Also in that category is displaced homemakers. If someone's spouse has been working and they get laid off and this person has been home taking care of the children, they're eligible for the funds to be trained as well. And then in our area, a big category is transitioning military and spouses. So when someone comes out of the military, they're also eligible to receive funds through our programs to be trained. Then again, the third category is youth. And youth is split also in 2 buckets pretty quickly. 75% of our funds go to what we call out-of-school youth. And how we administer that is we have an in-house person who works with youth who need a GED, who also need credit recovery. So if there's a high school student who was within 1 or 2 classes of getting their high school diploma, and they say, I'm done with school, we have the ability to have them come in and do the online credit recovery where they will actually receive their high school diploma from the high school as opposed to needing to test for the GED. And we also do paid work experience where we go out into the community, either with businesses or with nonprofits, and put individuals into work experience slots to get them that experience that they've never had in a work environment to learn those skills that they need to be successful. This is my sales pitch right now. The person that we had in this position has moved to a new position for us. I have an opening for this in-house person who deals with youth. If you know anyone with a teaching certificate for grades 6 through 12, the job posting is out on the county website, so send them there. It's out there till the 17th. So then also with the out-of-school youth, we also contract out. We have contracts with Lewis and Clark Community College and also with MERS Goodwill to provide similar services, just not the credit recovery. And then 25% of our funds are used for in-school. So that's the definition is self-explanatory. Students that are in high school Most of our funds is contracted through Madison High School because of some of the requirements as far as eligibility with income. So what we can pay for and how much we pay, we do not provide any training. We provide funds for other entities to do the training. So our upper limits are we will pay up to $20,000 for tuition, and in addition, we'll pay an additional $12,500 for an individual to pay for testing, uniforms, equipment, whatever they need in that training. Who do we provide funds to train? The community colleges. SIU Edwardsville, we have a program with for juniors and seniors who have a declared major. And then we also contract with private schools to do training as well. The state has a demand list that shows what industries are growing. We can't put somebody in any type of program. They have to fit into those categories where there is employment and job opportunities after they complete the training. We do training for 6 months or less. We do CDL trainings we pay for, which is very short term. Intermediary ones 10 to 15, and like we say, up to 24 months. We will pay for an associate's degree at a community college, or like I said, junior, senior year with the declared major at SIU. One of the big areas that we train in: healthcare, vocational, industrial, IT, the vocational trades, manufacturing, those types of things, and then manufacturing, logistics, transportation. In addition to what we pay for, we also have offices. Our main office is in Wood River, the old community hospital. We also have satellite offices in Greenville as well as Jerseyville. Anyone can walk into our office and receive what we call universal services. As I tell people, doesn't matter if you don't have a penny in your pocket or $1 million, these services are available at no charge for no cost to the individual who walks in. We have a bank of computers that individuals can do job search on. We have resume creation software. We will keep someone's resume on file for 7 years. We do not let them use flash drives. We keep them on file so we found if they go out and get a job, and like 4 or 5 years later, they'll be looking for a new job or lose that job and they can't find the resume. They'll come back in, we can pull it up for them and they can update it there. We have job boards with job listings throughout the area. We do on-site employer hiring events. We were shut down for about 18 months with that. We're back up now where we have employers coming in. They can meet with people in our office and interview them on the spot. We do fax, telephone, and copy services for someone trying to send something out to an employer. We do job search workshops. Used to be live. These are all virtual now. And we have one-on-one counseling sessions with our career specialists. There's the experts that we have on site. One of the big things that we see in the modern world is real people don't look at resumes anymore. So you have to have the right buzzwords in to make it to the next step, or if you don't, you just boot it out without anybody ever seeing it. So that's something that's, especially now with people that have been in a job for a number of years that are looking, is something that's new to them. So it's a pretty valuable resource. We also assist businesses at our center. Again, we do job and career fairs. We just did our big job fair that we did in conjunction with St. Clair County in September at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. We had 80 employers, and again, as a sign of the times, we had about 100 job seekers in 3 hours. In comparison, the last live we did was 2019, when everybody was working, because everybody was working, we had 350 job seekers that day. So people aren't looking. We do virtual job fairs. They had to set up where, especially when COVID was pretty active, where employers can go and set up a virtual job fair. They can set up a booth where people can go in and look at their services, look at what they're offering, what jobs they have available. We can also do skills testing. When US Steel came back on big time, they had skills tests that people had to pass to move on to the interview. They did not have staff for that, so our staff went to US Steel and proctored the test, scored the test for them. So we do on-the-job training, provide funds for employers and work training and apprenticeships. On the job training, we will pay 50, we'll reimburse 50% of the wages to a company for the first 6 months. If they hire someone that fits in one of our eligibility categories. What's the benefits? It provides hands-on training for that individual. Again, we provide the payment to offset the cost because we know someone's coming in will not have the skill set needed. So an employer is going to need to provide a little more hands-on for those individuals. It's an opportunity for the employer to train that individual the way they want them trained. And it's an investment for the company to bring someone in, train them, and keep them. Incumbent worker training is a program for current employees in a company. This is the only program we have that is not eligibility based. The only eligibility that is required is that the company be in Madison, Jersey, or Calhoun County. What we do is work with a training provider that provides training that the business identifies is that their employees need. It may be we're getting a new piece of equipment and we need to train the staff to be able to work the equipment. What we saw pre-pandemic was individuals were getting promoted into supervisory positions that did not have supervisory skills. So we did a lot of basic supervisory skill training for individuals. As one of the employers described it, we moved people up from the front line to supervisors and they all became a kill of the hunt. So they were worried about keeping their other staff, so they needed that supervisory experience and training. So if you train the staff, it increases profits, it shows growth for your company, and you promote people, train them, they tend to stay with your company. So in addition to our 4 counties, the state is also divided into 10 economic development regions. Needless to say, the Chicago and surrounding area is the largest. But if you include our 4 counties with the 5 counties south of us, which make up the Southwest Economic Development Region, we're the 2nd largest in population. What that does is make us very attractive to the state and to the federal government when they're issuing grants in addition to our regular grants. Talk about 3 of those right now. First one is registered apprenticeship programs. Our region, quite honestly, leads the state in registered apprenticeship programs. 2 weeks ago was National Apprenticeship Week. We had an event in Collinsville where we honored 14 businesses that have set up registered apprenticeship programs. That day, there was also a signing between the city of Collinsville and Collinsville High School to do a registered apprenticeship program with special ed students at the high school, something unique. Also in our region, it was in St. Clair County, but Social Kitchen is a new restaurant/food truck facility in Swansea. They've created the first food truck apprenticeship program in the country. So a little bit about registered apprenticeship programs. There's 5 components to a registered apprenticeship program through the Department of Labor. There needs to be a classroom training component that can be live or online. There needs to be an on-the-job training. You need a mentor at your work, an individual that person can go to work closely with them. There needs to be progressive wages. So as people hit certain benchmarks on their way to achieving this apprenticeship, there needs to be wage increases. And then at the end, the individual receives this national occupational credential. So if I end up receiving my DLL certificate as a welder, that is recognized anywhere throughout the country. So if I move to California, I take that with me. That's going to put me ahead of the game when I'm looking for employment. Benefits to businesses. Everybody wants to know in a business, what's in it for me? You're able to train that apprentice to the exact skills that you need to do the job. Increase retention. National average for someone who goes through an apprenticeship program with the company that stays with that company is anywhere between 92 and 94%. Again, they're receiving nationally recognized training. Return on investment, that the businesses look for, what am I getting back? For every dollar they invest, they're getting back $1.48. And it gives them, especially in this day and age, a steady supply of skilled labor. For the apprentices themselves, why would they want to be in an apprenticeship program? They feel that increased loyalty in the company, that they're willing to train them, willing to invest in them. They're earning while they learn, especially in this day and age. What we're hearing from training providers is employers are saying, come work for us now and we will train you. It's not what skills do you have before we bring you in. Big piece nowadays, no educational debt. We have a grant available where we're paying for the training costs. The company's paying their wages, so it's very advantageous for an individual looking to enter into any of those careers. They're getting the exact skills they need for employment, and again, that nationally recognized credential they can take anywhere in the country. New program we're working with is called Internships to Apprenticeships. This is through the high schools in the area. So if you have a high school senior that is taking some classes, I'll use welding. Welding's the easiest. Welding's the one we're working on. For part of their senior year, part of the day, they're going out and working in a business doing welding. They're getting paid for that. And then when they graduate, they move right into that company's apprenticeship program. The business can test drive the individual to see if they fit into what they want in an employee. They can instill the business culture and the mission in the individual before they officially hire them. And again, it's all about developing that steady stream of employees that everyone needs currently. For the intern, again, they're test driving the employer. They're also test driving the career. Just because I took a couple welding classes, is that really what I want to do the rest of my life? We're earning money their senior year, anywhere probably from $15 to $20 an hour to do that job. Again, no educational debt. And they're also working is also getting them credits for their high school completion. So the model basically is seniors, internships for at least the second semester. When they graduate, right into the apprenticeship program for the company. Again, the key is providing a talent supply. A couple other programs that we received and extra grants we received. When COVID hit, there was a big push from the federal government to get funds back out, specific for dislocated workers, people who had lost their jobs because of the pandemic. So we worked with SIU on a program called, change names, but you can call it digital badging, you can call it alternative digital credentialing, people call it micro-credentialing. Basically, it is a competency program where an individual goes through training and does hands-on skills to achieve a certain competency. One of the growth industries in our region is the biotech industry, so our first sort of cohorts and sector that we looked at were the biotech. So there's 3 tracks that someone can go through, and that's lab tech, food science tech, and chemical tech. So what they do, they earn each one of these badges electronically, and they end up with the competency. SIU built this on specific with talking to the industry in this region. What do you need? What they were finding out, even their bachelor's program, someone coming out with a chemistry degree couldn't do the skills that the employers needed as far as the hands-on. They had the theory, but not the hands-on. This program, people think biotech, they think bachelor's, master's, PhDs. Now, someone with a high school diploma or GED can enter this program. The beauty of this program is 80% of it can be done remotely. So they start off with learning videos, and then they can work from home. They work with a grad assistant who's actually in the lab. The individual is on their computer. The grad assistant wears a GoPro, and the individual talks them through what they need to do the testing and everything. And then the last stage is they actually come in and do things hands-on their own to earn the credentials. So. Then the last thing in our region, everyone knows supply chain is a growing demand industry. All we have to do is go down to 270 and 255 and watch a new warehouse pop up every other week, I think. And so we received a just over $300,000 grant from the government to sort of concentrate on that sector and develop basically an education plan. We're working with SIU Edwardsville and then the 3 community colleges in our 9-county region, which is Lewis and Clark, Swick, and Kaskaskia out to the east. We're targeting the supply chain logistics sector in that 9-county region. We hired a sector recruitment coordinator who is here with us, Justin Jackson. So Justin is sort of our expert in supply chain. He is working sort of as a go-between between the education institutions and the employers as we develop this program. So we're doing two things here. Phase one is a short-term training program for individuals already working with the companies in the industry. The incumbent worker model that I talked about before. The big picture plan is at the end of this, we want to have a coordinated education training model that anyone can walk into a workforce office, into any of those 4 education institutions, into an employer and say, hey, I want to get into the supply chain industry as an inventory management specialist. Thus, at the workforce area, the education institutions, the employer can say, you need to go to SWIFT. They offer this 5-class program on inventory management, or you need to go to SIU. They have a bachelor's degree in supply chain. So what we've already established is on the spectrum of education, we have anything from what is called a bridge to warehousing program for individuals who do not even have a GED, through the spectrum of community college courses and certificates up to SIU is now offering a concentration in their management program and supply chain. So as we spell that out, as we understand the overlaps and the gaps, it'll become more clear. And then phase 3 is to reach out to the high schools and even down to the grade schools, explaining to people what supply chain is. You know, if you say supply chain, most people say truck drivers. So, and there's much more to supply chain than that. What we found out meeting with employers when we laid this 3-phase plan out was, no, phase 3 needs to be phase 1A. So we need talent, we need to develop it now, we need to get to the high schools and all that. So Caleb Smith here from Madison County CTE programs. We have been working on some ideas, how to get in the high school, how to look for dual credit courses, how to get trainings for individuals as they learn about the supply chain. So that's it. So I have a staff, including myself, of 20. So we have support staff, and then I have the boarding manager and 6 or 7 career specialists. Most of them are in Wood River. There's one in Greenville and one in Jerseyville. And then we have both with the baggage grant and also Justin on the supply chain are limited time employees that are hired through the length of the grant. So, yeah, but again, I mean, we're not doing the funding, we're providing funding. My compadre in St. County likes to refer to us as the wallet. I like to think of us as a little bit more than the wallet. I mean, workforce is the one entity that I've ever been involved with that there's no I. I can't do anything to change the workforce. It's all about partnership. It's all about working with the entities that are involved and working together to make something happen.
This is totally federally funded.
Yes, all our money comes through the Department of Labor. So, and every year the state gets a certain amount and they put in some magical formula, and we have less money in Chicago, and the collars always end up with the same or more. So I don't know what formula that is. So.
Anything else, John? Thank you for being here, John. Appreciate it.